Hello, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future. This is a timeless reading, so not really a timestamp on this reading. My intention for these specific messages this week is for these to be received whenever they need to be received by whoever they need to be received by. Now, since I am doing them right now, this could be something you are currently dealing with or that you will be dealing with in the month of March. But take it as it resonates, as always. I've gone ahead and pulled the oracle cards and clarified those. I have the overall energy for the reading, or the tarot deck that we'll be diving into, already shuffled, as well as the decks we'll be using in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. If you are a returning viewer to my channel or you've had a tendency to purchase extendeds in the past, I will be making an announcement about a little shift that I've made on my channel at the end of this reading before we hop on over to the extended. So stick around for that. All right, Cancer. This is a reading about self-mastery. It's like mastering yourself to master your reality in a way. It's kind of cool. I'm excited to see what these how these messages all tie together. In your recent past, you have karmic path with the Seven of Coins. So you in your recent past were investing in some sort of a karmic situation. And I feel like it did you pretty dirty. I feel like it was pretty painful and possibly pretty surprising in a way. I also feel like you might not have known this was a karmic situation. And when I talk about karmic situations, it's never like, oh, you deserved this to happen to you. No, it just means, and we'll talk a lot more about this, but remember that our beliefs are the root of our results, and 95% of our belief system, our movements, choices, decisions in response to our reality is actually subconscious. And so only 5% of how we interact with our reality is conscious. And so what I'm getting at is that there was a part of your belief system that aligned with this karmic situation. Now, I don't know any more details than that yet, but I do see that in your current energy, you're really just kind of looking for relief. And I feel like you've been spending a lot of time trying to find some relief from the situation because you have relief with the Five of Wands. And this, to me, this Five of Wands is talking about internal conflict. I don't necessarily know what kind of internal conflict. I don't know if it's like, should I, go back to this situation, or how do I move forward, or whose fault really was it, or were they really a bad person, or am I in the wrong? I'm not exactly sure, but I do feel like there's this, it almost feels like you're at war with yourself about something. And you're really looking for some relief about it. In your immediate future, you have truth with the Five of Swords here. And so your immediate future is about getting to, and my intention with my readings is really truly to read below the surface of the circumstances. I don't like talking about circumstances because your circumstances really at the end of the day are so temporary and they do not matter. And the only way that we control our circumstances, per the law of attraction or per just typical psychology, is by fixing our inner world first, and then that will eventually reflect into our outer world. Call it the law of attraction, which you focus on expands, or call it psychology. Your thoughts become your beliefs, become your actions, become your reality. It's the whole concept behind cognitive behavioral therapy. And so what I'm getting at is that, in your immediate future, there's this need to dive into the realization that there is more to this situation than you realize, more to this recent past than you realize. There is a reason for it, a lesson to be learned, something that's keeping you from actually being able to attract what you ultimately want. There's some sort of a blockage here, some sort of resistance that you're needing to kind of work through here. Now, I feel like your immediate future is, the way that my readings kind of tend to come out when I do it in this format is that it's, what blockages have you been dealing with in your recent past? How is it affecting your current energy, and how can you alleviate those moving forward? So looking at, your recent past, current energy, and immediate future, that can be how it's come to manifest into your circumstances. But the actual situation that's going on here is, what blockage are we trying to overcome? Now, the overall energy for the reading is squaring the circle and involution. It's kind of interesting because both of these cards are talking about inner work. This square the circle card, this really is self-mastery, how to master your emotions, how to master your thoughts, how to master your inner environment so that you can be the master of your reality. And this involution, think opposite of evolution. It's not outward growth, but it's inward growth. Now, inward growth is going to eventually reflect into outward growth. And so this has a lot to do with shifting your inner world to create something for you. And that could be something in terms of a relationship or a financial abundance or just overall feeling of success or whatever the case is. Remember, this is a general reading. This is like falling off. Give me just a second. Okay. All right, let's start by looking at Cancer's recent past. What was Cancer dealing with in their recent past? Recent past for Cancer. Four of Pentacles. This has a lot to do. I feel like this is a very financial reading. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and then you have the Six of Cups in reverse, but then you have the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles in reverse. It feels as if a level of your stability was connected with something from your past that kind of fell apart. A relationship, a career, a job, something that kind of came undone. Your financial or overall material stability. Now, that could just mean not even necessarily just speaking, purely about finances, but also kind of talking about your home life or your just this feeling of stability, feeling of predictability in your life was connected to some sort of situation in your past that it fell apart with the Queen of Pentacles or the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And that could be like a partnership of some sort too. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like it had to fall apart for a reason. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I feel like whatever you were you have karmic paths, so it was something that you are needing to learn from. So let's get more for Cancer's recent past. Recent past for Cancer, please. Recent past for Cancer. Something was burning you out. Something was draining you. Pretty substantially too. Because I feel like it felt like whatever you were investing in, because no matter how much energy you put into it, it never really reciprocated. It never really gave you the abundance or the reciprocity that you were ultimately needing in order to feel like you were being respected, appreciated, taken care of, loved, whatever the case is for you. So it's interesting because, I want clarity on this Four of Swords in reverse. I want to know what was burning Cancer out. What was burning Cancer out here? Something about, this is diving kind of deep into inner child now. Okay, hang on. This message just kind of took a little bit of a left turn. Give me a second. You have the Page of Wands with the Knight of Pentacles. Clarifying this message, please. And the Empress with the Ace of Swords in reverse. Oh, and the Lovers. Okay. So you were being burnt out because you were hoping for change. You were wanting things to change. You were investing in this with the hope that things would change. But the thing is, you were continuing to allow the situation to not provide you with what you deserved. Now, I don't feel like there were a lot of boundaries set. I feel like there was a lack of standing up for yourself, standing up for your worth, and kind of this, honestly, the feeling I get is getting walked over, getting walked on, getting walked all over. Now, I feel like you had this, you have such a big heart that you were like, but maybe this situation will change. It was like crossing your fingers and hoping for change. And I feel like change never came. And I feel like that's ultimately like you eventually just got really burnt out with this. Like because it was draining you. It wasn't giving you energy, it was taking energy from you. And I feel like that ultimately caused you, because this lovers, and I mean these are two cards. I mean, this is putting yourself first and this is saying your worth. Here, saying what you're deserving of. The fact that you are deserving of more. And I feel like you knew that. You knew you were deserving of more than you were receiving, but because there's a 7 of Pentacles. But you were hoping, maybe if I try harder, or maybe if I, whatever the situation, maybe if I do more, maybe if I am more than I am, then I'll finally receive from the situation. I feel like it never reciprocated. Recent past for Cancer, please. Recent past for Cancer, because it was a karmic path. Yeah. This is interesting because what this is saying is the only reason, not the only reason, there are a lot of reasons, but the ultimate reason that this didn't pan out or reciprocate for you is because this situation wasn't in alignment with you or your soul or what you're deserving of, or take it how you want. But it's almost like the reason it fell apart was so that you could have better, essentially, because it was almost like you weren't choosing better for yourself, and so the universe kind of had to step in and create better for you. Now, you might not have received better yet. You might still just be dealing with, I don't even necessarily feel like there is a lot, like you don't even really feel loss associated with this, but we'll see what you're dealing with in your current energy. I want more on this last message, this 8 of Pentacles in reverse. There's the Star and the 6 of Pentacles. I mean, this right here, this is reciprocation, right? This is the Star. So it's interesting because it's basically saying the healing and the lessons that need to be learned and the whatever it is that has to do with this situation, like ultimately the healing that has to do with this is what is going to allow you to receive, which makes sense. Because you have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is kind of like maybe rug being ripped out from underneath you kind of energy, or maybe you were the one who ripped the rug out from underneath you. Maybe it was your decision for this to fall apart. Who knows? But it happened because, I mean, again, there was this inner work that needed to be done. And it's almost like you needed to do it through this situation, because with the 2 of Wands in reverse here, it feels like it wasn't aligning with you anymore. Like maybe one point it did, but it just wasn't aligning with you anymore toward the end of it. Now let's look at Cancer's current energy. You have relief with the 5 of Wands. Oof. Relief with the 5 of Wands, please. This is for Cancer's current energy, clarifying relief with the 5 of Wands. The Well in reverse and the Hangman in reverse. Okay, so now this is interesting. These 2 5s, so you have the 5 of Wands and the 5 of Swords, and both of these are really standing out to me right now with this message, because it's basically, to me, this feels like you were actually, it's that whole concept of like nothing can stand in our way but ourselves. This Well card, so there's 2 additional major arcanas in this deck. This Well card is one of them, and it's the process of allowing changes, allowing, honestly, like your abundance to flow to you. And then you have the Hangman in reverse, but both of them are in reverse. The Hangman is like, surrendering, but with them both in reverse, it feels as if you are actually blocking yourself from what it is you're wanting. With the Lovers in reverse here, it's because you're dealing with not feeling deserving. Now, I almost feel like this situation made you feel undeserving. And so now you're working through these feelings of being undeserving so that you can kind of get out of your own way. Because remember, like I said, 95% of how we respond to our reality is subconscious. And, our belief system is the root of our results. And so it comes down to realizing that right now there's a part of your belief system that aligns with not feeling deserving of whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest. Now, when I talk about manifest, that's create or build or start or receive, however it resonates with you. And so it's almost as if this situation that you were going through in your recent past has affected how you feel about yourself and your current energy, which is directly affecting your environment. So you're still in a healing phase of this karmic situation that you were dealing with. Current energy for Cancer. Current energy for Cancer, please. You have the Queen of Wands here. Queen of Wands, Four of Cups in reverse, and the Tower in reverse. This is like your focus is on the wrong aspect of this situation. There's more, again, because this is like not saying the truth, and then your immediate future, you have truth. So there's more to this situation and why it had to happen than you really realize. Because it's almost like, why is Cancer showing up as the Queen of Wands? You could have been dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You don't have to have been. Current energy for Cancer, clarifying the Queen of Wands with the Four of Cups in reverse. Because this feels like your energy, though. There's the Queen of Cups. So there you are. With the Six of Pentacles. And then the Five of... So there is that loss. I feel like you were dealing with a fire sign. Or this just has to do with something that you were taking action toward. And the focus, you see this as a loss. But you're not looking at why the loss had to occur. There's more to this situation than you realize. Somebody in this situation was giving way more than they were receiving. And honestly, Cancer, I feel like it might have been you. I mean, take it as resonates, right? Energies can always be swapped, but it feels like the focus, there wasn't a loss here, is ultimately what I'm getting at. There wasn't a loss here. It feels like it because this situation had a lot to do with your stability, your sense of stability, your sense of possibly even sense of purpose. Like I heard sense of purpose. It doesn't have to be, but it's almost like you're not seeing that this actually wasn't a loss. This actually was a good thing that happened because the situation was unbalanced. Like I feel like you or they or both were giving more than you were receiving, just in different ways. Who knows? Like it just feels like there is a lot of this. Current energy for Cancer. Current energy for Cancer, please. Current energy for Cancer. So, okay, this is talking about there's a need for change. There's a need for some sort of change. Hang on, clarity on this message, please. And it has to do with your expectations. Clarity on this message. Okay. So, this is Nine of Wands in reverse. It's talking about obstacles. Lots of obstacles. There's a need for change, for changing your expectations about something, because here's what's happening. You're expecting a certain outcome. And then when that outcome doesn't happen, you're allowing yourself to get really in your head and believe that because that specific outcome didn't happen, that you're never going to get to where you're trying to go, or you're never going to receive what you're trying to receive, or build what you're trying to build. And when you give that energy, when you give power to that energy, especially through emotion, you're creating more of that situation. Now, my example when I talk about expectations is you might be expecting to receive $100 by the end of the week. You're really needing that $100 because you got bills to pay next month. You're really needing that $100 because for whatever reason. But the universe has a plan for you to receive $1,000 at the end of the month. So you're not going to receive that 100, but you'll be receiving that 1,000 at the end of the month, but you don't know about that 1,000. So when you don't receive the 100, even though what's waiting for you is 10 times better than what you're expecting, because your expectations didn't happen, you feel like you lost, even though the universe is trying to give. And we tend to get in our own way because you didn't receive that $100, you quit doing whatever it was to receive that $100. So then you miss out on that 1,000. And so that's how we get in our own way with our expectations. Learning to expect nothing and be grateful for everything, even the little things we receive, is how we experience fulfillment, and also how we create an abundant mindset. Our mindset being, our perception being our reality. And so this has a lot to do with needing to change your expectations, because your expectations are keeping you from being able to receive what you're wanting. Because this Four of Cups in reverse, yes, it can talk about looking back at your past and focusing on the wrong things. But again, that it's still affecting your present, because of what you experienced here, you're expecting this situation to repeat itself. And so every time you hit an obstacle, it's, oh my gosh, this is happening again. The world is falling apart again. This situation is repeating itself again. When in reality, that's not true. You're just hitting obstacles, but your expectations are getting in the way of you being able to see the truth of the situation, which it's almost like you're creating more emotional and mental turmoil for yourself than you ultimately need to. Immediate future for Cancer. It's kind of a confusing reading because there's a lot going on, because it's both talking about how you need to shift your perspective on your current reality to create better for yourself, but how your past is affecting your perspective on your current reality. Immediate future for Cancer. And that's why there's so much self-mastery in this. It's not just about healing, but it's about mastering your perception, mastering your emotions. Immediate future for Cancer, clarifying truth with the Five of Swords. Cancer, you need to stop putting other people ahead of yourself. Because that's another thing that needs to change here. It's almost like, yeah, because there's that Lovers again. It's almost as if what you need to see is that this situation, and the reason it had to change, was because you weren't choosing yourself. You were choosing something or someone else over you. And that could go even deeper. You were choosing money over your happiness. You were choosing a relationship that didn't serve you or make you happy or treat you well over yourself. Like, it can apply to so many different things, but this situation and why it was karmic, it was the manifestation of you not putting yourself first. That's why it had to change. So that's why your current expectations, okay, it's finally coming together. That's why your current expectations need to be adjusted, because you need to look at this past situation as that had to happen, that had to fall apart. Because there wasn't a loss here. It feels like it, but what's meant for us will never pass us. And it's hard to see that in the moment. It really, really is. But again, go back to that. The universe has $1,000 waiting for you at the end of the month, not necessarily this specific month. Take it as like, just because you're not in a relationship, right now, doesn't mean there's a better one for you later, or whatever the case is. You're feeling like you lost $100 and the universe is trying to give you 1,000. And so look at, this is the truth here. You were blocking your own abundance by settling for this situation, even though this did not make you happy. This didn't treat you well. It didn't treat you like you deserve. So there wasn't a loss here. Immediate future for Cancer. You were deserving of more. Immediate future for Cancer, please. Immediate future for Cancer. Because I feel like this situation walked away from you. Or you walked away from it. I don't know. But what I'm seeing is that it actually aligned you with what you deserve. Now, it came with a lot of this. You have the Moon card and the Nine of Swords. So this walking away from this, or this situation walking away from you, it came with a lot of fear and anxiety. And that's because it was a big level of your security, of your comfort zone, say. But leaving the situation behind allowed you to open the door for what you truly deserve. But the thing is you are blocking that. You're blocking what you truly deserve because you're still holding on to this. And maybe not holding on to it as like you want to go back to it, but you're still holding on to the way this made you feel about yourself. This made you feel undeserving. This made you feel like you weren't worthy of more. And now you have internalized that, and part of that 95%, because remember, our thoughts become our beliefs, become our actions, become our reality. And even if it's outside thoughts, even if it's someone or something else that makes you feel over and over again like you're not deserving, you're going to eventually believe that about yourself. And now that you believe that about yourself, you are currently acting in alignment with that, or believing in alignment with that is a better thing to say. And then your actions kind of align with that just because your beliefs do. So it's shifting your perspective on this recent past from that sucked to, wow, I'm glad that happened because I deserve better. And then allowing yourself to fully heal from it so that you can create better. Immediate future for Cancer, please. Justice is another kind of card of truth here too. Immediate future for Cancer. It's almost like you wouldn't walk away. If it walked away from you, you wouldn't walk away from it, so it had to. The universe had to pull it from you, because or else you were going to continue to invest in a situation that, quite honestly, didn't deserve your time or your worth. Immediate future for Cancer. The Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Nine of Wands in reverse. This is so interesting. We've seen all of these messages before. I want more on this Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands here, because this is like, clarifying this message, please. clarifying this message. Specifically the Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups. I want to know more about this. Oh my goodness. Clarifying this message for Cancer's immediate future. There's the Page of Wands. This is realizing, oh my goodness, okay. This is realizing that you didn't walk away from this because there was an attachment to it. There was a codependent level to this situation. And that's why the universe had to take it from you. Now, it's interesting because this stems from inner child energy. This stems from your past. It almost feels like actually, okay, hang on. This is a pretty interesting message. So give me just a second. Clarifying this Page of Wands. Clarifying this Page of Wands in Cancer's reading. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse and the Eight of Wands. So Cancer, you, your whole life, possibly since you were a kid, have constantly settled for below what you were deserving of. And it's possibly because you were given the bare minimum as a kid. And so the reason there was an attachment to this situation is because you felt this was all you deserved. And maybe it was the best you ever had. But just because it was the best you ever had does not mean it's the best that's possible for you. And so this situation, this karmic situation that you were going through was actually an obstacle to what it is you ultimately want. So you view this as a loss. But what you don't realize is this situation was actually trying to teach you that you are deserving of more and not to settle for this, for this kind of energy anymore. You feel like you have to be more than you are in order to receive what it is that you want. And it's ultimately because you doubt that what you truly want is possible. So you settle for the best you ever had or the bare minimum because you're like, well, this is kind of as good as it gets, right? Just because that's all you've ever experienced. So this is about, so that is how you block yourself from your own manifestations. You block yourself from your own abundance because you settle for the lack of abundance, the lack. You settle for the lack, and you settle for the lack of reciprocation and the, being treated like you don't deserve because, quite honestly, Cancer, I think that's all you've ever known. So my goodness, that got really deep, really fast. We are going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into these messages and clarify them as well as pull an advice card. The one thing the announcement I was going to make is that every single extended that I do post on this channel is $5 and will continue to be $5 from this point forward. So I created a Patreon account. This Patreon account will allow you to subscribe for $10 a month, which will provide you with access to every single reading on my channel from this week forward. So not from past weeks, because that would take me so many hours to upload all of those readings. And honestly, it would take away from the available hours I have on Patreon moving forward. So just from this week moving forward, from this reading, and then every reading that I post from this point forward, for every zodiac sign, you will have access to every single extended reading if you're subscribed to my Patreon. I'll have the link to that extended. There'll be two different links now. It'll be for non-Patreon subscribers and then Patreon subscribers in the description box. Couple of things to mention about it is that I often upload extendeds to my Patreon before I release the videos on YouTube because these videos are on a schedule based on zodiac sign and the day that I'm releasing them. So I don't recommend scrolling through my Patreon account, because you'll probably I can assure you, stumble upon an extended reading before I actually release the regular reading. And then the other thing is, it's a default setting that they have, and I think this is really annoying, but I can't change it, that every single time I upload a video to Patreon, my subscribers get a notification via email. And so I recommend that the first time you receive that email, unless you want to receive an email, I mean, I'm uploading 2 to 3 a day, so that could get pretty annoying pretty quick. But if you want to receive emails, that's fine. I don't really care. But the first time you receive that email, it's super easy. Scroll to the bottom of the email, unsubscribe, and then it should be, you should be good from there on out. So just a couple things I wanted to mention. I didn't want you guys to think that, like, if you do subscribe, that I'm like spamming you with emails, because that's obviously never my intention. All right, guys, thank you so much as always. I know I say it every single reading, but your guys' support, it really does mean the world to me. I'm so blessed that this is what I get to do for a living. So thank you, guys, and I wish you absolutely nothing, as always, again, but love and healing on your journey. Goodbye, Cancer. Maybe.